So we're enjoying the music just as much as you are. So
I'm sitting here singing it.
there we go.
Yeah.
But that's what we've been doing the entire time. Why the music been playing? We've been singing along and jamming. I thought I was on Soul Train here for a minute with Marvin Gaye and all the good music that's up
Motown
to
25.
Yeah, there you go. Stay.
He know the classics, yo. Anything he know the classics.
You got to, man.
Yeah.
And usually in this kind of work, it's you don't really have to know it, but it's good to educate yourself on it because you want your listeners to know that you know.
You got to be
what's behind this music, right? And when you're well-rounded, what we mean by that is that you know your music, you know the artist. You don't need to know the album and how many albums. It's good to know that, but a lot of the listeners, all they want to know is who sings it and what's the name of the song.
Yeah.
A lot of times, 95% of the time, that's all they want to know.
Exactly.
It's just who sings it and what's the name of the song. And that's what I try to do. I try to keep, announcing the music that I play. So then, to avoid people.
They don't do that on the radio anymore.
But you know what? It's funny because B101, which is now no more B101. It's now the New More FM at 101.1. They have a thing at the end of their songs. It's called a song tag.
Yeah.
And at the end of each song, a recording will come on and tell you the name of it and who sang it. Oh, and then you can also go onto their website, the website, and see who sings it as well. So that's
amazing.
And you'll be surprised the stuff that this equipment can do.
Yeah.
And it's always good to keep your listeners up to date on different things. And when you keep your listeners up to date on the different music, that's basically what they want to know. They don't need the whole history of it, but it's always good to have some type of format behind the music that you're playing because it shows your listeners, man, this air personality really knows what he's talking about. This guy's good at what he does. That's what makes you good, is what's up here, your knowledge.
Right.
And just like there was a singer, Tammy Montgomery was her birth name. Her stage name was Tammy Terrell. I don't know. She sang "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing" with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think she was like in her 30s when she died of a brain tumor.
Oh my God.
She went through 8 painful surgeries. She grew up right in the heart of North Philadelphia.
Wow.
And she was treated at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. And the documentary that was on, it was the doctor that treated her. And he actually broke down in tears because he said that he felt like he could have done more for her. But you can only do so much. Yeah. The body can only take so much cutting into. And even when she was going through her surgeries, she was still in the studio faithfully.
That's amazing, man.
Music.
Wow. Dedication.
And the thing is, they paired her and Marvin Gaye up because she was a good-looking woman, he was a handsome-looking guy, so they felt like they both had this what they call commercial sound, which means no matter what type of music it is, they can fit that form of music. And when their big hit came out, "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing," it like skyrocketed right up the charts.
Wow.
So that's, it basically takes dedication.
Right.
That's how you get places these days, is dedication. If you go around listening to people to tell you, oh, you're never going to make it, you're never going to do this, you're never going to do that, how does that person know what you're going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And only you know what you're going to do. Like the old saying from my grandma, she used to say, well, if I have heartburn, I'll be the first one to know it.
Yeah.
like pretty much
That's
saying that it's funny when you hear it, but it's basically telling people like only you know what's good for you.
Exactly.
And if you keep allowing people to down you and tell you that you're never going to be anything, that's not really a good thing.
Yeah.
Because then you start traumatizing the person, not emotionally, but in other ways. Because then they start to turn into alcohol, They, you know, a lot of times they stop eating. Sometimes people, they get depressed, so they eat. So it varies.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
I mean, I always said this: don't do to somebody what you don't want done back.
Exactly, and
Right.
everything, and it's just like, you know what I'm saying, like picking up from where you,
Yeah, when you pick up.
like, you know what I mean, going off of what you said, like, it's just like you know, not allowing people to like deter you or to like anything, and the fact that she had inspiration, just, you know, I'm pretty sure people was telling her you won't be able to pursue music anymore because of the cancer. She decided like, no, you're not going to tell me what I can and can't do and everything like that, and that's just, I find that really inspiring and everything like that. And like you said, you can't like allow people to deter you from what you really only do. Not your parents, not your friends. Like, only you know what's best for you. And that's really important. I mean, a lot of people forget that message.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
I said, you just gotta keep pushing, man. You just can't let people tell you that you can't do this. You can't do this, because you know what you should do. If people tell you that, you should let it fuel you.
Yeah.
And come back tenfold. That's what I had to do with my music. I had to come back tenfold. I'm still not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. But it's crazy. I never thought I'd come out with a mixtape.
And it's funny because a lot of people, what they do is you know, they go and they let their anger build up. And what they do is, when they get into the studio, they sing like they never sang before.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you do that, that's telling yourself, I can do this. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you say. I can do this. Regardless what you think, what, you know. And a lot of times, you know, I know a lot of people that went through that, and they went into a deep depression. And then it's like, it just opens, I'm not going to get into detail, but it just opens up a whole different can of worms. But
Yeah.
but sometimes you should really be there for the person instead of trying to shoot them down.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just the way it is. But anyway, but getting back onto your record, you said you have an album coming out?
A mixtape. It's, you know, like a free mixtape. Most underground hip hop artists, they should start with a free mixtape. Some of them will try to charge you $12, which is like all the kids out there know, don't buy that mixtape.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So I've been working on this mixtape for, well, conceptually for about like 2-3 years, and it's finally just coming together. It's going to be done in about 4 weeks. The name of the record's called Rising Sun, and basically what I want to talk about in there is you know, just me coming up, and you can see in my music how I progress. Some songs aren't that great, some songs are pretty good, and I just want people to also you know, just know that you can rise above everything else. It's also named after the street where I grew up, or around the street where I grew up with my best friends in Longcrest. The name of the street is called Rising Sun Avenue.
Okay.
It divides from the place where I lived to Longcrest. I lived in Lawndale, and then Longcrest was not that far off from the borderline. So I figured I would make a mixtape so that my friends could relate to it from there.
Okay, now do you do public appearances? Like, do you go out to like different events or different like nightclubs or anything like that to perform, to try to actually like push yourself out there?
Well, believe it or not, I have not tried to do that yet. What I wanted to do was I wanted to complete the mixtape and have a whole set of songs that I could do, so that when I go out there, I can go out there. If I wanted to do a long show, I can. I mean, I'm comfortable with performing in front of people. I just haven't delved into like a big stage yet. But I'm going to be getting there soon, probably in the summer. I'm going to rehearse all winter and spring, and then just the summer I'll start really pushing it.
Okay, sounds good to me. Hey, I look at it this way. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, you know, Tavis Smiley had to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Steve Harvey had to start from the bottom.
Yeah.
The great Tom Joyner,
Yeah.
who was a legacy of radio, who still is and probably always will be.
Time joining.
And it's funny because you get that jingle stuck in your head, and it's catchy.
Yeah.
It's really catchy because it's like you're sitting there, and the next thing you know, all you're hearing is the Tom Joyner Morning Show, and then you hear him, come on, wake up tomorrow morning with the TJMS. So it's you know, it's got a good beat, but the point I'm trying to make is everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Advice I would have to give, sorry for interrupting, but the advice I would have to give is just like, you got to take your time with your craft. You got to really take your time and don't promote it until it's ready to be promoted. That's how I feel. Like I used to do it too. I used to say, well, I got this song, but I wasn't on point with my flow. I wasn't on point with what I was talking about, and I needed to take my time and really work on it. And it took meeting my partner Rhyme Zaire, who also does music with me. We both produce beats, to be able to find my niche in my music. And I'm just kind of coming into my own now. I'm already starting to work on a second mixtape, like a pre-work.
Right.
And just thanks to Zaire, I really found my own, and I was able to learn how to take my time and say, all right, well, this is when I should tell people. I should keep this secret and just let the music speak for itself.
Okay, sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Now, the beats, are they hard to do?
It depends on how much you work with it. It takes a while. Like if you're sampling something, that is the biggest pain in the butt to sample, because you got to sit there and count the bars and everything. And if you don't know how to count bars, it makes it even 10 times difficult.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty much like just anything else. Like, you know, you work at it on a consistent basis, you get good at it, good's gonna turn into better, better's gonna turn into great, then great's gonna turn into outstanding. It's just like, just gotta keep at it. It's like a sport. You just gotta keep at it if you wanna get better at your craft and everything like that. So we would just make beats like morning,
noon, and night.
Morning, noon, and night. Just steady trying to work, because we're trying to be like great with our craft and everything like this. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely take this serious. I mean, it's just.
And another thing is too, we as artists, we don't want to be just trapped to hip hop and making beats. We also kind of, I kind of want to make movies too. I want to make like short urban films, which is what I really like. I enjoy it. It's like it seems really strange for a white kid to want to do urban films.
Right.
But the thing is, it's how I feel also about hip hop. It's so universal. Why should it be subjected to one color or one race or one kind of or one gender? It shouldn't be. Because it's such a universal music, because it's spoken word.
Right. Yeah, I mean, music to me is like colorblind. Like, I'm probably one of the biggest Taylor Swift fans, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm being honest. Like, I love Taylor Swift. Like, I love her music. That's me keeping it real. And it's just like, I feel as though if it touches your soul, it touches your spirit, why not listen to it? I mean, no matter where you come from or what environment you come from, her music spoke to me. So I guess. I mean,
and Taylor had, for being such a young girl, that girl has a set of vocal cords on her. I'm talking about from her song "Love Story."
Yeah.
I Knew You Were Trouble.
Favorites.
I mean, she just had like a whole list of songs that will probably, I mean, it blew the charts up.
Yeah.
So if it's going to blow the charts up, it's definitely going to blow the airwaves up.
Yeah.
And you know, I always. Like you said, I always deeply believe that you have to keep reaching for your dream.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it gets, like I said, Steve Harvey didn't get where he is, sitting home crying because somebody said he was not going to make it.
Yeah.
Look at him now. He's now has his own talk show. He does Family Feud, and he does WDAS in the morning.
You know what's crazy about, like, what I made a point earlier about being original?
Yeah.
Be an innovator. Sound like something nobody's ever heard before. That's what Steve Harvey had. That's why he's his own brand of what he does. Like he wrote a book. He does 2 TV shows. He does a radio show. He's done movies.
Right.
He's even started a sitcom. You know, back in the 90s, I think. He played the school
Steve
teacher.
Harvey Show.
Yeah. He's done all of that, and that's what I mean. That's why I try to tell everybody, if you're gonna do something, don't just be typical.
Yeah, basically just be yourself. Whatever you feel in your heart, just do.
And the thing is, like I was always taught, real quick before we get back to the music, I was always taught, be better than the job itself.
Yeah.
So, if, you know, I'm an on-air DJ, I have to do what I have to do to keep my audience. Which means, you know, have good interviews like what we're doing now.
Right.
Have good music that people can relate to. You don't want to walk in, you know, into South Philly and play Tupac. Because South Philly is a lot of older, you know, Italian and Irish and, you know, population. So because South Philly's mostly older, they know more about, like, the music that I'm playing today.
Right.
The Supremes, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, Marvin Gaye, Kim Weston, you know, the Bee Gees. That's the kind of music they grew up with. and they grew up with that music because back then they had no other music to listen to.
Yeah.
And I think that music was fantastic, and it's still going and it's still jumping
It's
today.
legendary.
Today, and that, I mean, the Supremes, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better group. The Ronettes, the Crystals, who sings the Do Run Run. You have a lot of those big name people, and when you get them big name people, believe me, they're the ones that you want to stick with, because unfortunately they're the ones that'll be able to help you fit into your niche, into where you need to be.
Yeah, you have to listen to everything and anything before, like, that's what I said with hip hop. I had to listen to all kinds of different music. My mom introduced me to so many different music, but that's how I learned.
Right, and that's what it is. You just have to basically, you learn from the best.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I look at it. You learn from the best. It is now 10:57, and we're going to get back to the interview in just a couple of minutes. But right now, we're going to hear some Diana Ross.